Hello Leo, thank you for joining me. I'm Anushka and this is your March 2017 horoscope. Okay, so this month this month is all about change, and it's a really big month for all of us. And all of us have one particular area of life this month where the energy is going to be really focused. And for you, it's going to be in your ninth house. So the theme here is travel, it's adventure, it's freedom, it's higher learning, and it's expansion. And these are all things you're going to be drawn to and drawn to wanting to do. So when we start out the month on the 1st, the sun is in Pisces in your 8th house. And it could be that, and Mercury's here too, so it could be that you've had a kind of transformation of your ego and of your thinking. It could be that you've been exploring old wounds or things to do with power and to do with your primal, the primal side of you and deep emotions. You could have been exploring these recently, and you're coming to the end of that now. But this is where you start off. The big news this month is that Venus goes retrograde. Now, on the 3rd, we've got Jupiter opposing Uranus. Jupiter for you is in your 3rd house of communication. Uranus is in that 9th house. So this says to me that there could be, you could say something, you could communicate something. It could be to do with a belief, or it could be to do with the need for freedom, and it could rock the boat slightly. So just watch for your communication. There seems to be, I feel like you want to express your desire for freedom and your desire for expansion, and there could be something that's pulling you in the opposite way. So there could be some sort of a bit of a tension or a clash there somehow. On the 4th, that's when Venus goes retrograde. So with Venus going retrograde, we tend to reassess, and we get the chance to heal anything connected to the heart and how we feel about it, depending on which house it's in. So for you, Venus is in your 9th house, and it will retrograde until the 15th of April, and where it will go back into your 8th house. So here we're talking about issues or healing that needs to be done surrounding learning or travel and adventure and freedom. So how much do you think you have been living life on your terms? How free have you felt? Have you been able to, when you imagined life when you were a kid, did you imagine it as being full of a lot more adventure? Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. Did you imagine it as being full of a lot more adventure and excitement than it's turned out to be? And if so, why is that? Have you maybe sacrificed certain things? Have you sacrificed higher learning? Maybe you always wanted to go to college or university and you didn't do it because of something to do with relationships or love or commitments. Maybe you didn't travel when you were young, when you wanted to, also to do with commitments and love relationships and that kind of thing. So it's time for you now to assess those things and maybe heal some wounds, so you can put certain things to bed and you can now start living the life that you want to live. Because I really feel like for you, this month is all about happiness and expansion, and I feel like it's about grabbing life with both hands and moving forward in a way that's right for you. So you're really clearing up a few things this month, and all of them are going to lead to greater happiness and moving forward with a better sense of purpose and on your terms. So that's what Venus retrograde will bring up for you, I think. It will be issues surrounding your freedom and higher learning and your expansion. And if you have felt restricted in any way, you will hopefully be able to resolve some of those issues, and so that you can go after what you want in life. So on the 10th, Mars moves into Taurus, and so it goes from your 9th house and it goes into your 10th house of career. So where your drive has been maybe to explore, to expand. Now I think you're going to be bringing some of that energy into your career. And I mean, all of this energy is going to shift gradually into the 10th house, of course. But it could be that becomes a channel. So, like I said, you're wanting to expand, you're wanting to broaden your horizons, you're seeking adventure, and it could be with Mars moving into the 10th house that's where you might focus your energy. You might want to travel through work, you might want to expand through work and through career, through your status, that could end up being where the energy gets directed. We have on the 12th, we have a full moon in Virgo. And that full moon is going to be in your 2nd house, and it's going to be trined by Pluto. So your 2nd house covers resources and the material things and your security and stability. And your 6th house is work. So it could be that there are some details that come to light that help you to secure yourself better, that help you to get more abundance, to get more of what you want. Full moon is usually culmination, so it could be that something comes to light that helps, that maybe some details or some information comes to light that helps in the culmination of something to do with your finances. It could be some sort of some sort of like paperwork type thing, anything like that. Or you might just get a hunch, you might just get an idea about how to better use your resources day to day. So that could be very helpful. On the 13th, Mercury also enters your 9th house. So it goes from the 8th house, where you were maybe thinking about shared resources, and you might have been there might have been, like I said, a transformation in the way that you think. Now we're going into the 9th house. So once again, this is about freedom. This is about expansion. Your mind, you're probably thirsty for adventure on a mental level, and now would be a good time to try and make plans to find that and bring that adventure into your life. On the 15th, we've got the Sun conjunct Chiron. So of course, the Sun represents you, and Chiron is a wounded healer. And with the Sun conjunct Chiron in your 8th house, you might find that there's something to be healed deep down in the psyche. Something maybe to do with your childhood, something maybe to do with just very deep emotional wounds. There might be something there to look at. It's a really good healing time. So I would say to take it easy on the 15th and just be patient with yourself and just go through whatever it is you've got to go through, because the Sun will be coming out of this area of your life, and obviously before it does, it wants to make this conjunct so that you can bring this thing up to heal and it can move forward. Right, and then we go to, I forgot to mention, on the 17th we have the Sun, which will be squaring off with Saturn in Sagittarius, which is your 5th house. So I definitely feel like there's been some sort of, you have been thinking the last kind of month or so, you have really been delving deep, you've been thinking about how you think maybe about yourself, about love, about deep relationships. And I feel like there could be some sort of a conflict or something that gets brought to your attention where you might be feeling slightly restricted in love or blocked. It could be like there's something, that feels like some sort of a blockage. And so that's just something to be mindful of. It feels to me like it seems to me like the theme is, like I said, obviously like adventure and travel, but it also feels like the theme is where love has held you back, or how love has held you back perhaps in the past. And that fits in with the whole Venus retrograde theme in this area, and it also fits in with the Sun square Saturn. So I feel like you're starting to realize where maybe you've been held back or restricted from maybe being yourself, from being able to be who you truly are and to expand and move forward. So that's something to be aware of. And then on the 20th, the sun then moves into the 9th house. So it's almost like you have to face these little things that come up, Chiron and then the square with Saturn, and then maybe you get some sort of enlightenment about it, some sort of epiphany, and then you move into, your ego energy moves into the 9th house, that 9th house of travel and adventure and expansion. So it's nice because I feel like we're clearing up 8th house matters. We're clearing up things to do with restriction and being held back, and now we're moving into expansion. So I really like that. On the 25th, there's a really, really nice day for you. The sun's going to be conjuncting Venus in that 9th house again. So you might find that there's a lot of support for traveling and getting out there, or for expanding or for higher learning. It could be that you're accepted to something that you applied for. It's just a really nice day. There's some really positive energy there and good feeling, and you're really supported in just expanding, and like I said, there could be some good opportunity there. On the 27th, we've got a new moon again in the 9th house. It just doesn't stop, does it, this month with the 9th house? So yeah, I can really see a process here where you've been looking at where you've been held back. You've been looking at what's blocked you, where you felt restricted. And now, as we get to the end of the month, we get some really positive energy. The sun goes into the house of expansion and adventure. It conjuncts Venus there. Then the new moon a few days later happens in that same house. So it's fresh start, it's energy going into expansion. So if you have been feeling held back in any way, then this is you've got this to look forward to. You just have to do the work first, you know. So I think a big thing is looking at whether you've self-sacrificed, whether you've sacrificed for relationships, whether you've loved yourself enough and felt worthy enough of going after what you want and having the experiences you want. But towards the end of the month, it's going to get really positive. And on the 29th, we've got Mercury trine Saturn. And Saturn is in Sagittarius in your 5th house. So where we did have that square between the Sun, your ruling planet, and Saturn on the 17th, where you might have felt like you were being restricted or held back, now on the 29th, we've got Mercury trining Saturn. So it could be that there's a conversation. It could be a love conversation where once there was the tension, maybe on the 17th you experienced tension, now on the 29th, there might be some sort of a talk and a resolution, which actually leads you to feeling more free and perceiving yourself as being more free, but at the same time is solid and grounding for your love relationship if you're in a relationship. And they're both at 27 degrees, both of those aspects. So they are going to be connected. I think they're going to refer to the same kind of issue. On the 31st, Mercury enters Taurus. So that goes into your 10th house. So you can see how this month you're in the 9th house a lot. That's where lots of the action is. But then as you're realizing your need for expansion, as you're embracing it, as you're making plans to travel, maybe to learn, to broaden your horizons and finding more freedom, then you're going to bring that into career and work. Your thinking will go into, okay, well, and now I feel good about that. Now where can I place it? So that's where the drive's going to go. I mean, Venus will still be in retrograde at the end of the month. So, there'll still be work to do. But all in all, it's a really, really positive month I think for you, I feel like you're going to feel this month like you're embracing and asserting your values. You're finding out what's important to you and you're making it known. Whereas maybe before you might have been, you might have been a bit shy about it. I've never known Leos to really be too shy. But I feel like you're making your values known and you're saying, no, I want this. I want adventure. I want excitement. I want travel. I want freedom. And you're moving forward with that. If you're single, it's very likely that if you do meet someone, they could be a foreigner, or you could meet them traveling, or you know, they could come from abroad, or that kind of a thing. It could be quite a nice, fun romance. I wouldn't take it too seriously until Venus starts going direct, because it's not the best time to start relationships when Venus is retrograde. But you could find that you're drawn to people from different cultures and different backgrounds, and that could be a really fun part of your freedom and your adventure. But all in all, I think this is going to be a really great month. I think you're really clearing up any issues surrounding restriction and freedom and adventure. And I feel like it's almost like you're saying, I want to live life on my terms, and my happiness is really important. And there's a lot of support for that. So thank you so much for listening. And before I go, I just want to say that I'm giving away 4 free readings this month. To introduce myself, I'm a new astrologer here on YouTube, so if you want to enter, just click that link, it should be above my head somewhere, and enter your details, what kind of reading you're interested in. They're all listed on my website, and I will be picking all the winners on the 15th, and I'll be doing the readings over the course of this month and next month. And yeah, I just thought it'd be something nice to introduce myself. But thank you so much for listening, Leo, and I hope you have a wonderful month. There's a lot of support, and I think it's going to be a great month for all of us. Thank you so much. Take care.